Today on Locked On Red Wings, Detroit completes the comeback and the season sweep of the New York Islanders.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. Scotty's a host over at Locked On Tigers, as well as a freelance journalist for the Detroit News, while I am a color commentator for Oakland University, ACHA D1 men's hockey. That'll never not be a mouthful to say, Scotty. And man, it's so much nicer to win hockey games rather to lose them, as the Detroit Red Wings complete a comeback in the third period for the second time in the span of a week against the New York Islanders, win 4-2, and complete the season sweep in the process. Scotty and I are, Pistons buzzer beater. You know, normally for Red Wings wins, I wear a Red Wings hat, but special occasion, Jaden Ivey, buzzer beater to beat the Raptors. It's crazy what a coach...
Stones,
Man, it's crazy what a coach who's just absolutely not phoning it in, like Monty, can do for a young team.
I want to find out. I want a 30 for 30 in like 40 years from now about what Jaden Ivey did to Monty Williams. Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like,
right.
He is so good, and like the Pistons might legitimately have their backcourt of the future. And Monty Williams looked at Jaden Ivey and was like, absolutely not. You're not playing. Like, I want to know what he did to him to deserve the fate he did last season. Anyway, so Red Wings win too, though.
So anyways, go check out Locked On Pistons when you get an opportunity.
Yes,
we will be talking about the Islanders game here. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with a $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com today to get started. Scotty, first thought on this hockey game, and I'm sorry, I will be going first because the entire time this third period is, well, before the excitement began, my first thought was, oh my God, this game is incredibly boring. It's going to be another 2-1 finish or something along those lines. But then it started to pop off. And then the remainder of the third period, the only thought going through my head was that SpongeBob gift where Squidward is on the floor doing like not intentionally crunches, but he's just going back and forth yelling future. That was just on replay in my head, because you had Albert Johansson get his first NHL point. You had Moritz Seider and Simon Edvinsson assist on a Lucas Raymond goal, his third goal in 3 games as he continues to heat up. Simon Edvinsson had an empty net goal, and Moritz Seider the first goal of the game. And of course, you know, Dylan Larkin's not necessarily, he's still young, but he's not part of like the younger group that I just listed before that. I mean, he scored too, but like just the youth playing such a huge role. It's kind of a mixed bag where like the future gif is replaying in my head, but that's because my difference maker was just the youth in this hockey game being the primary reason why the Red Wings mounted a comeback to beat the Islanders again for the second time in a week and complete the season sweep, which is the first time in either 10 years, 20 years, or 50 years, depending on which time they recited the statistic you believe, because during the game they said 88, 89, and then in the postgame I thought I heard Trevor Thompson say 02, 03. So either way, that third period made me feel a lot better about how that game was going.
Yeah. No, that's a great first thought. I think mine was honestly just very celebratory. Like I fully expected to come on here and just talk about a loss, and the fact that turned around as quickly as it did there in the third period. Mine was just being an amped up like fan and just being really excited for the comeback. And I think that was a really cool moment, and I'm hoping that it can be kind of a momentum shifter, because they honestly like gradually played better, I felt, as the game went along. We'll talk about it. And honestly, I think they played decently at the beginning too, even though the box score maybe isn't going to agree with that.
I don't think there was any point in this game where I felt they played poorly. The problem is this is just such a low event hockey team.
Yeah.
That like it's just kind of not entertaining to watch if nothing's happening, because the Islanders, of course, don't produce a lot of offense, even though they outshot you by about 10. but they don't produce a lot of high-quality attempts. The Red Wings don't produce a lot of high-quality attempts because they don't normally possess the puck. But it was an even game at 5-on-5, and the Red Wings actually were the better of the two teams. But we'll get into all that. Scotty, what is your difference maker in this hockey game? I kind of bundled my first thought and difference maker together, but what's your difference maker?
Yeah, I honestly there's a few that I can think of, and we'll talk obviously about all of them. I think for me, if they would have lost, my difference maker would have been the missed opportunities that they had in the first period.
Oh my God.
Because that made this game a lot closer than it should have been. They had opportunities and chances to score a lot early and just couldn't even get a puck on net. But they ended up winning. So I'm going to go with Alex Lyon, and especially Lyon in the third period. Was absolutely on his head. I thought that he played a really, really, really solid game. And obviously the 2 goals against, it's not the greatest night in the world, but I really think that he made huge saves when it mattered. And I think that you look at how the third period played out, and with the momentum and the ice kind of tilting back and forth throughout those last 20 minutes, I think it's pretty clear that Lyon was a really big factor in this one.
Yeah, I mean, fun fact, Scotty, he made all 3 starts against the New York Islanders, and in those 3 starts, he only allowed 3 goals total. He had the 1-0 shutout. He had the 2-1 victory, and then he won 4-2 in this game. So Alex Lyon loves the Island. He was really good in this game. It's his second game. I think since he's played, he had that one rough game a couple nights ago against the Anaheim Ducks. I think this is his second game since then, and he's been good again, this time facing a heavier workload than he did when he faced the Islanders last week. And he looked, and especially in the final minute, did you with the empty net pulled? Yeah. The goaltender pulled. He made a series of big saves back to back to back to back when he was on his on the ground. And there was the moment in the first period when he lost his stick, and I felt like he put a little bit too much. Obviously, you want your goalie to have his stick. It's huge to how they play, but the puck was in the zone. Your team didn't have possession, and he just at an inopportune moment went to go pick up the stick and got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. And that's when Anders Lee scored that first goal of the game. But also that's not entirely his fault either, because the entire team in the defensive zone was running around chickens like chickens with their heads cut off. But outside of that, I thought he was phenomenal. I agree with you, huge difference maker, and goaltending continues to be huge for the Red Wings in staying in this, because he had a goal saved above expected, I believe, of .99. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard not to – in any game the Red Wings win this year, it's going to be hard to not credit the goaltending.
That's a good point. That's a very fair point.
I had a – you know how I usually pump out a few graphics after a win to be like, hey, guys, here's some notable performances from the game. Every single game they've won, I've done a goalie graphic, because the goalies have always had a 9-10 or better save percentage in those games. And today I legitimately sat there and I looked at it and I was like, do I really need to do this again? Aren't we at a point now where it's goes without saying that the goaltender, it's the graphic I was staring at, because I have a specific graphic that I made for goalies, and it was literally Alex Lyon versus the Islanders already preloaded in with his image in there, because the last time I made that graphic was when he played the Islanders and they won. All I had to do was change a couple of the statistics, and I just posted the same. If you scroll back, to last week, it's the same exact graphic. I didn't have to make any changes. Yeah, it's always.
I believe it, man.
Goaltending has been huge for the Red Wings. Scotty, why don't we head to a quick break? When we return, we'll break down our notable performers of this game. I know I mentioned some of the youth in the game that played a huge role as part of being the difference maker, but we'll talk more in depth about them. Talk about some of the line shakeups we saw today too, with the Patrick Kane being out. Some really drastically different lines, especially on line 2. So stay tuned for that in segment 2 of Locked On Red Wings. Got to talk to you guys today about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get Get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Think Connor McDavid will get more than 0.5 goals next week? Austin Matthews for more than 2? Cook up hot takes with your friends with real money this hockey season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play that first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Segment 2, Lockdown Red Wings podcast. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Man, come on. I don't know why I did that with left-handed. Like, for no reason. I was like, oh, I could just do this with my offhand, and I definitely can't.
Sometimes you just want to play life on hard mode. I get it.
Dude, seriously, I was like, just do it lefty. It's no big deal. And absolutely screwed it up.
That's a clip. Anyways, Scotty, what is your notable performers from this hockey game?
I mean, do you want to start with the lines? I think that if we can either start or end with them. I was not a fan. I'll just come right out and say it. Like, I was not a fan of the lines when they released them, and thankfully, they won. And we'll see what happens with them going forward. But I can't say I'm a fan defensively of the continued forcing of the Sherratt-Petrie duo.
Oh, dude,
that just like won't go away no matter what. I don't know what needs to happen to break it up, but I'm willing and able.
You need better defensemen.
To try to find
better
out.
defensemen.
I guess, man, but like even whatever. We've barked up that tree a million times. Offensively, the second line as well was an absolute doozy. And mixed results. I didn't think it was. I mean, it clearly didn't like lose us the game. Like I thought it legitimately might have on puck drop when the lines came out. But like, I'm not sure I'm really rushing to my TV to see it again on whatever they play, Wednesday or Thursday, either Wednesday.
Yeah, our text exchange when those lines dropped was pretty funny. I specifically told you that these lines are a war crime and that Newsy needs to be sent to the gulag for these lines. And then wouldn't you have it, the second line, though they didn't produce any points in this hockey game, ended up being your best analytically speaking. And for some people, that won't mean anything. For me, who tries to balance the what you see on the ice versus what you see analytically, it means something. I mean, JT Compher, Alex DeBrincat, and Tyler Mott were your best team best line at 5-on-5 based on Corsi and expected goals for percentage. They had a 77, 70, and 61 independently. That's Compher, DeBrincat, and Mott respectively at Corsi for percentage. And then expected goals, it was 94, 93, and 88 for, again, Compher, DeBrincat, and Mott. And as a line as a whole, at 7 minutes and 40 seconds of ice time on the ice together at 5-on-5, they did an 88% expected goals for percentage. That was the best on the team by 30%. Now, again, that didn't result in any production, but relative to their teammates, that was a heck of a lot better than what the other lines were doing. And honestly, you compare that to the top line. One, DeBrincat had 5 shots in this game on his own. That definitely helps. DeBrincat was firing that puck. He looked really good in this hockey game. And Tyler Mott, again, I give him credit. Like, I give Tyler Mott credit because this is a guy who, through his entire career, has been a bottom 6 forward, a PK specialist. I had zero. This is kind of a similar conversation we had with Christian Fischer last year. Player I had zero expectation of when he came into the organization, and they moved him up in the top 6 out of necessity a couple nights ago, and then tonight, kind of again out of necessity with Kane being out. Yeah. He played with pace. Like, he plays hard. He wins the races to the puck. He's not afraid to engage in those board battles. Like, he plays hard, and I really appreciate that on a team where it feels like not a lot of guys are really invested in winning those races. He's every single shift. He's out there, and I do think that is playing a role in that line's success. Not to say, again, like the conversation we had 2 nights ago, I'm not to a point where I'm saying Tyler Mott top 6 permanently, but that line was pretty solid in this game. Just couldn't convert.
Yeah, I think like we talked about the other day, like I think Mott is just a guy that can can play the same way no matter who he is surrounded by, right? Like you know what you're going to get out of Mott. And I think that he's a guy that a lot of players would like to have in the corners and on the wing for them. So like you said, I'm right there with you. I'm not saying that this dude should be like a permanent top 6 fixture in the lineup card, but I certainly don't get frustrated or upset when I see his name in the top 6 at this point either.
Well, and I wonder, too, how much of that expected goals for percentage that this line has to do with that puck that skipped over Mott's stick in the first period, right? Like, we talk about how the game flow went. The Red Wings had no shots on net until, 7 minutes left in the first period? Yet even Chris Osgood noticed it and mentioned it, like, despite that, the Red Wings were carrying a lot of the play, but none of their chances were ending up on net. Raymond missed a backdoor shot. Tyler Mott missed a backdoor shot, both
Raymond
of which would have been slammed.
The wildest one. I don't even know how that's possible. Like, and that's like, he's incredible. Like, that's not an insult. Like, genuinely physics wise, like I don't know how it's possible for him to have not at least gotten more of a stick on that than he did. But the broadcast team did a great job. They had 0 shots, and they pointed out they had 5 scoring opportunities with 0 shots on net. It was like, okay, well, we're getting outshot 6-0 or 7-0, but we do have 5 scoring opportunities mixed in there. Like, it was just, it was such an Islanders game.
I also like the third line too. Marco Kasper, Jonathan Berggren, and not Vladimir Tarasenko in this game. Gosh, who was on the other side of that? I'm just focusing on the 2 young guys. Who was on the
Tarasenko?
Was on the top line.
Yeah, that was Tarasenko was on the top.
Yeah, who was on the third line with Kasper and Berggren?
Veleno.
Thank you. Good Lord. Massive brain fart right there.
Well, you said Tarasenko, so I was thinking top line, and then Veleno. We did see winger Veleno, and then Rasmussen was down on the 4th.
But that line looked fun too. They were another line that really went out there and grinded it out. Sometimes I thought overskated, over pursued. We're thinking more about effort than strategy, but they forced a lot of turnovers and created plenty of chances. So just a little anecdote on those guys. It just goes on to continue that I've been really enjoying Kasper's game this entire season, and he's getting, the more he plays, the more confident he's getting. And I think that's part of the reason why I was so upset before the game that he wasn't on the second line, because he did not look out of place on that line the 2 games he played there. And it felt weird that losing Kane, who was, you can make the argument like, when he has the puck on his stick, like he can make things happen, but he isn't the one who's driving those lines anymore. That losing him is the reason why you demote Kasper. That felt weird. I feel like he was just a victim of circumstance. And I feel like when Kane comes back, they'll reunite that second line, or at least reunite Kasper on the second line, because he looks so good, man. He looks so good. I've been loving it.
Absolutely. I think if you can, and I don't mean this to just like piss away the rest of the season. That's not what I'm trying to do. But if you can go into next fall confident that Kasper is a middle 6 center at the NHL level, then like this season is a huge win. And so the bigger his role gets, unfortunately, there's some conversations about, the guys he's replacing in Kopp and Comfer and how they've been this year. But the more increased role he gets, the fact that he is taking it in stride and playing as well as he is really encouraging for sure.
Absolutely. Scott, let's go to another break here. And when we return, I want to talk about the goal scorers in this hockey game, because we haven't really broke that down yet. So stay tuned for that in segment 3 of Locked On Red Wings. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Segment 3, Lockdown Red Wings podcast. All right, Scotty, first and foremost, Simon Edvinsson. multi-point game for our dog. He scored the goal, first goal of the game. Nice ripper. And actually, shout out to Christian Fischer on that goal. I mentioned it on social media. I was like, sometimes 1 + 1 can really equal 2. Christian Fischer wins the race to the puck behind the net. Well, because what I'm saying is like sometimes the simple math is what works out. That's kind of the implication behind what I was saying. Is like all you got to do is get behind the net, win the race for the puck, and get it out into possession. Christian Fischer wins the race to the puck. He goes back to Andrew Kopp, who finds a Moritz Seider breaking in from the point, and they score. You don't need difficult equations and a million passes to make it work. Sometimes it's tic-tac-toe goal. Like, that's all you need. It was just you shot the puck and you scored. You won the race and you ended up scoring a goal. I don't need 1,000 passes before a shot is taken. Power play. Moritz Seider had a nice goal, and I was so frustrated watching this power play today because they had so many shot opportunities. Like, because you know how they shoot around the perimeter, and they'll shoot it around the perimeter to the open man, and the open man will have a lane for a shot. And even if that doesn't go in, it can produce a rebound, and they don't shoot it. And this is a tangent. Special teams is another thing we talk about. Penalty kill, 3 for 3, which is great to see. Of course, it was the 31st ranked power play, but they scored on you last week, so we take the wins when we can get them. But the power play, I mean, just shoot the puck sometimes, man. I'm so sick and tired of seeing them just pass it 1,000 times looking for that backdoor pass. Moritz Seider at 5-on-5 just shot the puck, and he tied the game at 1. He also had the secondary assist on Lucas Raymond's goal, which was the primary assist for Johansson and Edvinsson. As they connected, Raymond stays hot. I mean, just all those goals that they scored. Even Edvinsson's empty netter with 2.5 seconds left just makes you feel warm inside. Makes you feel something, at least.
I thought it would have been hilarious if Rasmussen just like tapped the puck.
I thought he was going to.
Steal it from him. My roommate said that. Yeah, I agree with you. I would like to know when 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. I'd like an example of that at some point. But I agree with you. I think that for a team whose system is supposed to be simple, that was the big thing. Remember his first year? All the players were like, oh, yeah, it's so simple and easy and awesome. Like, his system rocks. Like, we all get it immediately because it's so easy. And then it's just been brutal, like, the last this season. And it's like, it's nice to just get simple goal production.
It's nice to do simple math sometimes. Scotty.
It's nice when 1 + 1 just equals 2, you know, because that's not always the case. I've learned about 2 minutes ago.
You might put that like the I in there for imaginary numbers. Now we're making things up. Like, I don't know. Sometimes math is hard, dude.
Yeah, hey, you're telling me, man. I'm with you.
I failed pre-calc in college. That should tell you all you need to know about me.
I failed a lot more in college, so yeah.
Technically, I dropped out before I failed, so I didn't actually ever get to fail. But I failed in here. I mean, yeah, I mentioned it. The penalty kill, 3 for 3 in this hockey game. I don't know the last time they went perfect in a game. It feels like ages. Again, it was the 31st ranked power play they were playing against.
I don't even care.
I don't exactly. We take the wins.
Yeah, they gave up goals to the 32nd ranked power play in the league about 2 weeks ago. So like, I don't care, man. Just get me and like, of course the power play was absolutely atrocious because we can't have nice things. But so we can't have both special teams just line up at the same time, but it was really nice to see the penalty kill just get a clean bill for a change.
Right. And the one thing that I took note of watching that penalty kill was how they were going about getting those kills. A lot of it was they were straight up preventing zone entries. The Islanders would carry the puck to the blue line, and they would stop it dead there. And that was something that normally we just give the zone up. And I think part of that obviously is a combination of the Islanders' power play being so poor, but like the Red Wings just playing it correctly. They were reading what the Islanders were doing, and they were stepping up, and they were getting those interceptions. The power play, on the other hand, was not good in this game. Again, I already ranted about not taking the shot opportunities when given, but that one power play in particular where Larkin turned it over, and then Seider turned it over, and then somebody else turned the puck over right after that, and they were basically playing on the penalty kill while on the power play for about 30 seconds there. Just turnover after turnover after turnover. They were lucky. Again, this is where Alex Lyon was huge. They were lucky to get away from that situation. not trailing at that time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think that I was going to come on here and freak out about the power play if they ended up losing. Like it's because that would have been 2 games in a row that we were like, okay, this is supposed to be the thing that has bailed us out all year, and it was not able to. But to their credit, in the third period, they were able to turn around the 5-on-5 scoring. I think that's just my biggest takeaway from this game is just like they consistently got opportunities, as we've pointed out, and just couldn't find the back of the net. And then it just like water found its level. Like they finally were able to put some of those in the back of the net and actually score. And I mean, that redirect was wild. That was
so good,
absolutely incredible by all parties involved. So yeah, I like that was it was just
Larkin's
nice to get the reassurance isn't the right word, but like it was just nice after having so many high danger opportunities and not even getting a shot on net for any of them for most of the game. And then to finally just see the puck go in and for them to convert, it was just, like I said, it was nice for water to find its level there by the end.
I mean, we still desperately need some depth scoring to show up because Larkin scored his 12th. It was a nice goal by Larkin, too. I mean, Albert Johansson missed the net on the first attempt. Justin Hull, I think it was Justin Hull, picks up the puck along the boards and just sends it to Larkin, who knocks down the shot, spins, and scores. It's a nice goal. Raymond scored, again, his 3rd goal in 3 games. Edvinsson, his first multi-point game. I mean, a lot of like really cool moments happened late in this hockey game to give the Red Wings their win, but it all came from the usual suspects still, right? Like Moritz Seider, doesn't score a whole lot of goals, but he ends up on the score sheet a lot via assists. Dylan Larkin scores all the goals for the Red Wings. Lucas Raymond's been heating up. I think that's 3 in 3 games. He has all those assists as well. I mean, yeah, I would love to see scoring come from somewhere else besides those guys, but I'm not, again, going to be mad about the fact that they won a game because their top players showed up in big moments. Lucas Raymond only scores big goals. I'm convinced. Like it at the end of the season with Montreal, like obvious, right? Or the game against Pittsburgh, they did inevitably lose in overtime, right? But he scored the hat trick in that hockey game to force overtime. He only scores big
time
goals.
Players make big time plays, baby.
Also notably, we mentioned Seider already. Obviously, Edvinsson was very good in this hockey game as well. He continues to get swagger. That top pair has been phenomenal pretty much all season, barring, again, every player has them, but a couple of gaffes here and there, but far fewer from Seider and Edvinsson than anyone else on the team and anyone else in the league, really. They're, I think, 6th in expected goals against per 60, 6th fewest, I should say. So they've been incredible. Again, in this game, Seider was a +3, and we don't talk much about plus minus because we're in agreement. It's primarily a team stat. But when you're on a team as poor as the Red Wings that scores so few goals as the Red Wings, and you're Moritz Seider getting the toughest deployments in the league, and yet you're +2 on the season, I think that does carry a little bit of weight as to how good of a player you are. He had a multi-point game and is now plus on the season for a team that scores no goals. It's pretty incredible. He and Edvinsson have been very good.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Finally, Scotty, I think we got to give a shout out to Albert Johansson and Justin Hull on the 3rd pair.
I liked it, and I'm down to see it as the 2nd pair. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm so tired of Sherrod Petrie. Like
they were really bad.
I'm so tired of it, man. I'd throw you and Aljo out there before, like at 2nd pair. I think
I told you the story about what happened on Sunday night. So I mean, maybe John. I know my buddy John's listening to this, but I'll tell the story real briefly. We were up 3-0. He pulls me off defense because one of our guys scored out. He pulls me off defense, puts me on forward. We give up 4 consecutive goals, 3 consecutive goals before he puts me back on defense, to be fair. I'm out there for the 4th, but then we score 3 consecutive goals to win after he puts me back on defense. So I'm like, maybe we should keep me on defense. I don't contribute anything offensively either. Like, it was just a net negative play. You lose me defensively, you don't gain anything offensively.
I think there's a certain prospects website that maybe disagrees with your assessment there, but yeah.
It was pure coincidence. Trust me, I am not an impactful hockey player on the ice, but I was laughing at the timing of everything that as it happened.
Well, good thing we need you on the blue line, kid. All right, it's a good thing. Good thing we need you out there.
We learned a powerful lesson about putting me on forward.
Yeah, we need you on the back end. But yeah, I think they were great though. Aljo and Hall were fantastic, and I know I've said this a million times. I genuinely just don't know what else needs to happen to try something new. Like what else could they are consistently the worst two players on the ice. Like legitimately. Like they are by analytics, by eye tests, like they are so consistently the worst two players on the ice. Petrie certainly at the bottom more nights than not. And like, I don't know what else we need to have happen to get a shakeup for the second pair.
Yeah, I'm willing to try it just because Petrie and Shrott clearly aren't working, but like it is important to note too, like as good as Johansson and Hull were in this game, they were also used extraordinarily sheltered.
Sure.
Or in a sheltered role, rather, primarily offensive zone deployments against the softest competition, and they looked good. I'm not trying to take that away. I mean, they led, of all the defenders, they had the best expected goals for percentage in this game. 88% for Johansson, 88% for Hull. Like, they were some of the best players on the ice for the Red Wings in this hockey game, but that doesn't mean you put them on the second pair, give them real responsibility in the defensive zone. They're going to look that good either. So, but I agree with you. I'm willing to, because I'm not going to belabor the point with Sherratt Petrie. All I will tell people is if you follow hockey stat cards, not that hockey stat cards is the end all be all, but if you want to get a chuckle, just go look up the Red Wings hockey stat card graphic from the game against the Islanders, and that will tell you all you need to know about how this is going for that pair. So I'm with you that I'm willing to try anything at this point in the second pair, but I'm also cautious because I know how that third pair is being utilized.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not saying that a solution is on the roster currently. I think there's a very real chance that a solution isn't on the roster currently, but I know that the solution 100% is not Sherratt and Petrie. So I'm willing to find out if it maybe is a 1% chance that it's somebody else on the roster.
Bro, Bo Horvat had opportunity in the second or the third where Sherratt and Petrie and Larkin too all went behind the net, left behind nobody.
Net. Yeah, he was just standing right. I mean, shout out to Alex Lyon.
Again,
he was standing right in front of the net. They had their center and both defensemen behind the net.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good, guys. Nicely done.
Yeah, it was a rough game for that pair. I mean, the Patrick Kane didn't play day-to-day upper body injury. They're saying I'm not too worried about it. So we didn't want to mention that.
More tomorrow too.
Yeah. Fine. I mean, what do you do with Gustafsson? Like, that's the real question here. Like, you signed Erik Gustafsson to be one of your power play quarterbacks, to be an offensive defenseman. And we've talked about this a lot too, but like, that was a good game. And like, we know Derek Lalonde likes to run it back. It was a good game from that third pair, I should say. Derek Lalonde likes to run the stuff back when it works. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't run this back again. And like, so you just wasted a 2-year, $2 million contract per year.
It's one game. I mean, you think Hull and Aljo are going to be flawless from here on out?
No, but Gustafsson also has done nothing. Like, he looked rough the other night.
Our 22-minute a night second pair, and they get out there and get 20 minutes every night.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. They get 20-something minutes every night and get decently difficult deployments. Gustafsson gets sheltered, and he still looks bad. Like,
right.
What do you do?
I'm not. Yeah, I agree with you. Let's do Aljo, Hall, second pair, Sherratt, Gustafsson, third, Petrie.
You are insane. I'm going to send you to the gulag. Just call up anyone. Give me William
Lagesson. Why we fixed the Detroit Red Wings, not clickbait.
In parentheses, not clickbait. No, in parentheses, real.
Real, right, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Scotty, do you have any final thoughts on the game, buddy?
I don't think so, man. We ball.
I think we ball. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow. We will preview the game on Wednesday, obviously, and we'll have other content for you, too. Probably talk a little bit of Patrick Kane, maybe more about Gustafsson. Who knows? Who knows what tomorrow holds? Stay tuned. Same time, same place. It's just your team every day.
Every day.